The alien princess froze when she saw me. The reason was revealed later. Captain Jake Miller walked through the gleaming halls of the alien mothership, his boots echoing against the strange crystalline floor the Zephyrian delegation had requested. This meeting after months of tense negotiations following first contact. The aliens were tall, graceful beings with pale blue skin and silver hair. Their technology far exceeded anything humanity had ever dreamed of. Yet, here they were asking for an audience with a simple human military officer. Princess Zalara stood at the center of the grand chamber surrounded by her royal guard. She was the most beautiful creature Jake had ever seen. Her violet eyes seemed to hold the wisdom of ages, and her presence commanded respect from every being in the room. But the moment Zalara laid eyes on Jake, she went completely still. Her guards noticed immediately their hands moving to their energy weapons. The entire delegation began murmuring in their melodic language, confusion rippling through the assembled aliens. Jake stopped walking, unsure what had caused such a reaction. He had been briefed on Zephyrian customs and protocols. Nothing in his behavior should have been offensive. The princess continued to stare at him, unblinking, her breathing shallow, her elegant features frozen in an expression Jake could not read. Ambassador Kelly Thompson stepped forward from the human delegation, her voice calm and diplomatic despite the obvious tension. "What seems to be the problem, Your Highness?" Zalara did not respond. She remained motionless as if carved from the same crystal that lined the chamber walls. Her violet eyes, never leaving Jake's, faced the head of her guard. A stern-faced alien, named Commander Vex, moved closer to his princess, his weapon now clearly visible. "Princess Zalara, are you unwell still?" No response. Jake felt sweat beading on his forehead. The last thing humanity needed was an international incident over something he had unknowingly done wrong. Earth was desperate for the advanced technology the Zephyrians possessed, and this alliance was crucial for humanity's survival. Minutes passed in uncomfortable silence. Then slowly Zalara began to move again. Her hand, rising to touch a pendant hanging from her neck, it glowed softly with an inner light. Jake had never seen before. Her voice, when she finally spoke, was barely above a whisper. "Impossible." Commander Vex leaned closer. "Princess, what troubles you?" Zalara finally blinked, breaking her intense stare. She looked at her commander, then back at Jake. "This human, he carries the mark." "The mark?" Ambassador Thompson asked. Stepping forward, what mark? Zalara walked toward Jake, her movements fluid despite her earlier frozen state. She stopped just arm length away from him, studying his face with an intensity that made him uncomfortable. "Our legends speak of a prophesied being, one who would unite the galaxies and bring peace to warring worlds." She paused, her voice growing stronger. "The prophecy describes specific traits that only the chosen one would possess." Jake glanced at Ambassador Thompson, who looked just as confused as he felt. "What traits, Your Highness?" Thompson asked. Zalara raised her hand toward Jake's, face stopping just short of touching him. "The legends say the chosen one would have eyes the color of Earth skies, hair like the golden star of Sol, and most importantly," she gestured toward his chest, "a spirit that burns brighter than any star." Jake looked down at his standard military uniform, wondering what she could possibly be seeing. "But that is not why I froze." Zalara continued, her voice now trembling slightly. "Then why?" Kelly asked. Zalara stepped back, her eyes wide with something that looked like fear mixed with wonder. "Because the prophecy also says that when the chosen one appears, the current ruler of Zephyr must make an impossible choice." The chamber fell silent again. What choice? Commander Vex demanded, his loyalty to his princess clear in his voice. Zalara looked at her loyal guard, then at the human delegation. "The prophecy states that the chosen one will either save our worlds or destroy them. The choice lies not with him, but with those who recognize him." She paused, her violet eyes meeting Jake's again. "And according to our most sacred laws, when the chosen one is identified, the Princess of Zephyr must either bind herself to him in eternal partnership or challenge him to combat to determine the fate of both their peoples." Jake felt his heart skip a beat. Partnership? He had come here expecting trade negotiations, not marriage proposals. Ambassador Thompson cleared her throat. "Your Highness, surely this is just legend." Zalara shook her head. "The prophecies have never been wrong. Our seers have guided Zephyr for 10,000 years. They predicted your species would reach the stars. They predicted first contact. They even predicted the exact day you would arrive. She looked directly at Jake again, and they predicted that Princess Zalara, daughter of the Eternal Throne, would meet her destiny when she looked upon the Chosen One. The implications hit Jake like a physical blow. Not only was humanity's fate tied to this moment, but so was this beautiful alien princess who had never asked to be part of an ancient prophecy. What happens if you choose combat? Jake asked. Finding his voice. If I win. Zalara replied. Humanity and Zephyr remain separate species as they always have been. If you win, our worlds unite under the guidance of the Chosen One, and peace spreads throughout the galaxy. And if you choose the other option, then we are bound together as partners. Our fates forever intertwined, and through our union, the prophecy of galactic peace begins. To unfold, Jake looked at Ambassador Thompson, who nodded almost imperceptibly. They both understood what was at stake here. This was bigger than trade agreements or technology sharing. This was about the future of both their civilizations. Princess, Jake said, stepping forward, I am honored by your prophecy, but I am just a soldier. I never asked to be chosen for anything. Zalara smiled for the first time since their encounter began. None of us ask for our destinies, Captain Miller, but that does not make them any less real. She turned to address her guard and the assembled Zephyrians. I have made my choice. The chamber fell silent. Waiting. I choose partnership. Commander Vex stepped forward. Princess, are you certain this decision will bind Zephyr to humanity forever? Zalara nodded, her eyes still on Jake. Yes, I am certain. The prophecy has waited 10,000 years to unfold. I will not stand in its way. She extended her hand toward Jake. Captain Miller, will you accept this bond? Not just for yourself, but for both our peoples. Jake looked at her outstretched hand, then at her face. He saw determination there and hope, but also fear. She was taking as much of a risk as he was. Slowly, he reached out and took her hand. The moment their skin touched the pendant around Zalala's neck blazed with brilliant light, filling the entire chamber with warm golden radiance. When the light faded, Zalara was no longer just a Zephyrian princess, and Jake was no longer just a human captain. They were something new, something that had never existed before. And in that moment, both their peoples took their first step toward a destiny written in the stars. Long before either of them were born, the prophecy had begun.